Namaste, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Welcome to this heart opening practice, which will include quite a bit of back bending and of course, finishing it off with some twists and forward folds to counterbalance. Grab a strap and 2 blocks and let's begin sitting in hero's pose or virasana. That's where you place your shins on the floor, pointing the knees forward, no wider apart than hips distance. And pointing your toes back, make sure the feet are not turned out so that you're stabilizing your knees. And if you're finding that your knees are a bit sensitive, you could sit on top of a block that is right between your ankles or even 2 blocks. So let's begin with a focus on how we set our intentions. I ask you to do that day after day, each time we practice yoga, but what does it actually look like? What does it actually mean? And how can we really cultivate the intention growing? So the Sanskrit word for intention is sankalpa. And sankalpa is created by focus, right? So we decide one thing that in any area of your life, maybe it has to do with your physical body as we're practicing physical yoga. Maybe it doesn't directly. Maybe it's work life or a relationship to yourself or anything. So pinpoint something in which you would like to bring a shift of some kind to. Whether you want clarity on something or you're looking to change something or strengthen something or let go of something. And then I'll invite you to begin to create the feeling tone of that intention manifesting. So it's not something we're planning to happen in the future, but as you are setting the intention, you want to say it in the present tense, a statement of affirmation, something that's happening right now. For example, if I want clarity in solving a problem that I might be experiencing in a relationship, I could say, I invite clarity to have resolution, or I invite clarity and harmony with my partner, whatever it might be. So, or I feel, I experience. So things that are happening in the present tense. And then you can even make that more succinct and pinpoint the key words in your intention that really elicit the feeling that you're going for. So in that might be clarity and harmony, clarity and harmony. So think of what it is that you would like to shift, strengthen, or let go of. Phrase it in a positive statement where you're not saying the word no in any way, but you're saying it as an affirmation, something that is already happening in the present tense. And then see if you can make that even more succinct and take the most important words that elicit the feeling tone that you want to cultivate and turn that into a phrase that you might repeat to yourself now as we sit. So before even going further into setting our intentions, at least you have that in your back pocket. Let's assess what we're working with. Maybe close your eyes, let your body be still. Begin to notice how your body feels. You might place a hand to the heart, a hand to the lower belly, really feeling into the sensations that are here now. Keep an open mind, so no need to label or judge anything as good or bad. Observe the way your body is breathing without changing the way it's breathing. So in the qualities of the natural breath, notice what you're experiencing energetically right now. Are you feeling full of energy, low on energy, somewhere in between? And with that, observe your mind and notice its activity. Notice the kinds of thoughts or what your attention is drawn to. Is the mind busy? Is the mind calm? And observe your emotional state because of that too. So now, having checked in with our outermost to more subtle layers of being, called koshas in Sanskrit, now begin to pinpoint one area in your life in which you are choosing to focus on in today's practice. Something you want to strengthen, let go of, or change. And in that area of your life, create a positive affirmation, a statement in the present tense, setting your intention, your sankalpa. Now, what is the general feeling tone of what it is you're choosing to focus on and create? Pinpoint some emotional words in that statement, some qualities that you can embody in the physical yoga practice. And now let your body feel the energy of those words that you are now claiming into your reality. Attract the feeling tone of those words of your intention in the way that you're breathing and the energy that you're emanating. As you continue to stoke the fire of your sankalpa, now call to mind something that you appreciate. Let the energy of gratitude continue to expand what you're cultivating. And now let's choose somebody, a community, or a cause that's important to you to dedicate your practice to today. Remembering that our individual well-being contributes to the collective well-being. And together, let's join our voices in community, supporting each other, chanting 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. Slowing the breath down, let's begin practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, the breathing technique that allows us to calm our body and mind and steady our attention in the present moment. Softly narrow the back of your throat and sustain your breath equally in and out through your nose while creating a gentle whispering sound. Bring into the qualities that you can hear in your breathing, the qualities of the feeling tone of your intention happening in the present moment. As you continue that, let's make our way onto hands and knees, all fours, and begin the practice of cat-cow a few times. So as you inhale, slowly glide your chest forward and roll the shoulders down. You might call this a heart opener, a gentle back bend. And as you exhale, contract the belly, round the back, drop the head. Inhale again, chest forward and up into cow pose. Exhale, lift the navel and dome the back into cat pose. Take about 3 more cycles on your own. Virasana, cat-cow pose. When you finish the 3rd cycle, Tuck your toes and lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Spending the first 5 breaths there, maybe pedaling your feet in place or any kind of movements that your body might need right now. Relaxing your neck and rotating your triceps, your outer upper arms downward as you send the shoulder blades up and away from the neck. So this action of triceps rotating forward or towards the ground as you're bowing down with the arms overhead, this is actually an action called extension of the shoulders, and it's going to come up quite frequently in today's physical practice as we practice back bends. Now start to walk up to the front of your mat, standing in a forward fold with your feet hips distance apart, parallel to each other. And then press into the ground or maybe blocks in front of your feet, breathing in as you stretch your spine forward towards a flat back, hugging the front ribs into the back. Exhale, fold down. Press down to your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward. Rise to stand. Again, rotate the triceps forward. Peel the shoulders behind the ears and down, coiling your chest up. Take an extra breath here as you soften the front ribs in and direct the tailbone towards between the heels. Exhale, bring your hands together at your hearts. Again, in your mind, say your intention for your practice. And as you breathe in, sweep your arms forward, roll the shoulders back and down into a gentle back bend. As you breathe out, hinge from your hips. Feel free to bend the knees if that allows you to lengthen the spine more easily. Lower your fingertips. Inhale, step your left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge as you look up. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, then your chest and chin. Here's another back bend called Ashtangasana. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, slide your belly to the ground, firm down to the tops of your feet, and roll the shoulders back to Cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, firming in your belly. Lift the pelvis to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your back knee and look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep the arms forward. Rise into a gentle back bend in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join the hands at your heart in Padasana. One more, side 2. Inhale, sweep your arms, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold in Uttanasana. Press with your fingertips. Inhale, lower the right knee. Look up, Anjaneyasana. Holding your breath, step into plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest, then chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide to the ground and coil the chest up, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Inhale, step the right foot forward, lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and fold. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise into a gentle back bend. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Again, in your mind, state your intention, cultivate the feeling tone. Let's move into our second series of sun salutations. Inhale the arms forward, coil your chest up. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Press down with your hands. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Walk back to plank, pause. Firm in the belly, rotate the triceps towards the back wall, and lengthen the back of your neck. As you exhale, glide forward as far as you can, then bend the elbows 90 degrees, pause there. Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows hugging the ribs. Lower all the way to come into Cobra or flip the toes here and roll the shoulders back for upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Let's be still now for 3 breaths. Steadying your gaze on one spot. When you finish your third exhale, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. There, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen forward. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, rooting down, rise into Urdhva Hastasana with a back bend. Exhale to Padasana. Let's take the sequence once more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank. Exhale, glide forward through Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower all the way for Cobra or coil the chest here, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Pause. After the third exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Then inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, coil your chest up. Exhale, Padasana. Moving on to our third Surya Namaskar series. Bring your feet together for chair, and let's continue with 1 breath each movement. Bend your knees together and sit low towards your heels. Inhale your arms up in Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, lean forward and bow, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank and lower or float to Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue with your Vinyasa, Cobra or Upward Dog, the downward facing dog. Then inhale, raise your right leg, keeping your hips squared. Exhale, round forward, stepping the foot lightly beside the right thumb. Spin the back heel down, and inhale, rise up to Warrior One. Exhale, lower into your Vinyasa. At downward facing dog, keep your hips squared. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, round forward to lightly step the foot beside your left thumb, spinning the right heel down. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower into your Vinyasa. When you arrive at Adho Mukha Svanasana, be still, steady your gaze, and recalibrate your mind to your intention, cultivating the feeling tone here, now. Empty this breath, then walk or jump lightly to the front of your mat. With your feet touching, inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. With your knees touching, inhale, sit low in Utkatasana. Exhale, rise up to Padasana. From here, let's separate the feet hips distance parallel. Bring your hands behind your lower back to clasp and roll your shoulders back. Breathe in. Hinging from your hips, exhale, bow in for just a few breaths, stretching the arms away from your lower back, bending your elbows slightly to lift the shoulders up away from your neck. So this is actually the opposite of shoulders in extension. When you have your arms behind you like this, these are shoulders in flexion. Just opening up the chest here for 1 more breath. Then step back to your hands and knees for a moment. We're going to come back to shoulders in extension, placing 2 blocks on their 2nd level height across the mat in front of you. As you stand on your knees, extend your arms forward with palms face down, then rotate the triceps towards the ground. This is an external rotation of your upper arms at the shoulders. Place your bent elbows exactly shoulders distance apart on the 2 blocks. Then walk your knees back, a couple inches behind your hips. Press your fingertips into each other as you trace your thumbs down the back of your skull towards the back of your neck, or even further, lowering your head towards the ground and hugging your front ribs in towards the back, slightly firming in the belly. Make sure your elbows do not splay apart wider than your shoulders distance. Continue to rotate your triceps towards the ground and slide your shoulders back away from your neck. Sinking your chest, lowering your head. Let's listen to 3 more deep Ujjayi breaths. Then firming in the belly, rise up, put the blocks aside, and come to stand in downward facing dog. Now, keep your hips leveled. Raise your right leg behind you from the inner thigh. Keep turning the right hip down as you breathe, rotating the triceps towards the ground. Pull your hips back and up. Now think of a scorpion tail. Imagine your right ball of the foot was painting against the back wall towards the ceiling. Bend the right knee, pointing the knee downward. Now keep rotating the right hip down so your hips stay even in height. Take another breath in and see if you can lift the right knee higher, but hug the front ribs in. Now as you exhale, start to contract your lower abdomen. Slowly draw the knee towards your nose, high, rounding into plank. Step the foot forward beside your right thumb and lower your back knee. Keep your legs hips width apart and slowly rise up, raising your arms overhead. Again, rotate your triceps forward. So with your arms like this, your shoulders are in extension. Hook your thumbs and start to peel the upper arms behind your ears. Plug the shoulder bones down into their sockets. Seal the bottom of your front ribs into your back body and direct your tailbone down and forward towards your inner right heel. Isometrically scissor your legs towards each other, keeping the right knee just over the heel as you coil your chest up for another 3 breaths. Here is a back bend in Anjaneyasana. As we're opening up the top of the left hip, or the front of the left hip at your hip flexors. Bring your arms down by your sides, palms facing forward, and tucking your back toes. Come up to a high lunge and tilt your torso forward to hover the belly off of the right thigh. Keep scissoring the right hip back, bending the front knee just over the heel, and turning the left hip forward, firming the inner left heel back. Lift the navel, send the shoulders down the back. Take another inhale. Exhale, stay here. Sweep the arms overhead and cartwheel the arms into Warrior 2. Passing through as you align right heel to intersect the arch of left foot, bending the right knee. Peaceful Warrior. Rotate the right tricep down and turn the palm face up, side bending towards the rear wall. Place your left hand lightly on your left leg as you draw your shoulders down your back. Keep your right knee safe here by not buckling it in towards the left wall, but instead keeping it facing forward down the midline of the mat. Breathe into your right side body. Inhale, rise up and straighten your right leg for extended triangle pose. Glide your hips sideways towards the rear wall and reach your right hand forward and down to the right side of your right shin, directly under your shoulders. Rotate your left tricep to face the left wall and sweep the arm overhead, sending both shoulder blades down your back, pressing the crease of your right hip back towards your left outer foot, and rotating your chest slightly to face the sky. Utthita Trikonasana, 3 more breaths. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Gaze at the ground ahead of your right foot and crawl your right hand forward about 6 inches and out to the right corner of the pinky toe. Drag your left foot forward and flex it off the floor, recreating the shape of triangle pose. Stay here or prepare for more back bending with Ardha Chandra Chapasana, a sideways standing bow pose, by bending the left knee towards your belly, catching the top of the foot with your left hand, and kicking the foot away towards the rear wall as you pull the foot towards your glute, rolling the left shoulder back as you lengthen your left quadricep. Keep tacking the crease of your right hip towards the rear wall, whichever version of half moon you're in. Let's give it another 3 breaths where you are. If your left knee is bent, straighten it, keep flexing the foot. Then softly step back to peaceful warrior, sweeping the right arm towards the rear wall for 1 inhalation. Exhale your hands to the ground, take a vinyasa if you choose, maybe cat-cow or none. Downward facing dog. Come back to your intention. Breathe it in. Feel it in your own presence. Lifting the leg from the inseam, inhale, raise your left leg behind you, turning the left hip to face down, press the right hip back. Exhale, paint the left sole up the left wall, imagining that, towards the ceiling, as you bend the left knee like a scorpion tail. Stay there, and inhale, paint the left knee up the back wall towards the ceiling. Then exhale, contract your lower belly, slowly lift the navel, round into plank, bending the left knee towards your nose, maybe even kiss the knee, and step the left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your back knee and raise your arms into Anjaneyasana. Switch the cross of the thumb on top and isometrically scissoring your legs towards each other. Roll your triceps to face forward and peel your upper arms behind your ears, plugging your shoulder bones down into their sockets. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs as you direct your tailbone down and forward towards your inner left heel. Lifting your heart. Keep the back of your neck long. 3 more breaths in this back bending Anjaneyasana. Slowly lift your spine upright, tuck the back toes, come into crescent lunge, extending the arms down, palms face forward, tilt your torso forward to a diagonal, a variation of Degasana. Broaden your chest, send the shoulders down, and lift the sides of your waist, your belly. Deep breath. Inhale, raise your arms overhead. Cartwheel the arms apart to land the right foot down, aligning left heel to arch of right foot. Peaceful warrior. Rotate the left palm to face up and side bend towards the back of the room. Breathe into your left side body. Keep hugging your front ribs into your back. Inhale, rise up for extended triangle. Straighten the left leg. Glide your hips towards the back wall. Reach the left hand towards the front wall and down to the left side of your left shin. Rotate your right tricep to face the right wall and sweep that arm overhead into Utthita Trikonasana. Tack your left hip crease back towards your outer right foot and spin your chest slightly to face the sky. 3 more breaths. Gaze at the ground ahead of your left foot And walk your left hand about 6 inches forward out to the left corner of it. Drag your right foot in, flex it off the ground into half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Now, if you took the sideways standing bow variation of Ardha Chandra Chapasana, bend your right knee towards your belly. Take hold of the top of your right foot with your right hand. Kick the foot away as you pull the foot towards your glute, rolling the right shoulder open. Turn your chest towards the right wall. And breathe. Bring the energy of your intention into how you are holding yourself up in this asana. 3 more breaths. If your right knee is bent, straighten the right leg. Then bend your left knee to softly step into peaceful warrior again. Inhale the left arm overhead towards the back of the room. Exhale your hands to the ground, whether you choose to move through a vinyasa or not. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Three deep breaths. Be still. Notice what you're feeling here. Again, keep your hips leveled in height, both facing the ground, as you inhale to sweep your right leg behind you. Bend the right knee like a scorpion tail again, tracing the sole of the foot up the back wall towards the ceiling. Take another inhale. Now trace the right knee up the back wall towards the ceiling, but keep the front ribs hugging in towards you. Exhale, contract your lower belly, dome your spine high as you maybe kiss the right knee, and step the foot beside your right thumb. Spin the back heel down, and inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Warrior 1. Hands together or apart, bend the front knee right on top of the heel, and plug the right thigh bone into the hip socket. Straightening your left leg, press the outer left heel into the floor, and spin your inner left thigh towards your rear wall, bringing the left outer hip forward. Lift your frontal hip bones and lengthen through the back of your skull. A couple more breaths. Degasana. Bring your arms either down by your sides like we did earlier, or keep them overhead, which adds more rigor, as long as your lower back is okay with it. Hover the belly forward in front above your right thigh and scissor the right hip back. Keep squaring your hips forward. Grab your strap while you're passing through into Warrior 3. You can wear the strap like a scarf around your neck for now. Warrior 3, lift your inner left thigh, flex the left foot behind you, and create a horizontal line through the center line of your body, squaring your hips towards the ground. Optional to keep the arms overhead with the shoulders in extension. Standing on your right foot, inhale, rise up, bend the left knee in front of you, flexing the left foot. Take the strap and place the ball of your left foot into the loop or center of the strap. Kick into the strap with your left foot and hold the strap in your left hand. Left palm face up as you point the left knee down, close to the right knee. Direct your tailbone down and start to kick away the left foot, pointing the left elbow forward into standing bow. Raising your right arm up or holding the strap with both hands, bend your elbows to point at the front wall, keeping the elbows no wider apart than shoulders distance, just like you placed them on the 2 blocks earlier. Keep turning your left hip forward. Remember the scorpion tail that you did From downward dog, find that here as you soften the front ribs in. Breathe. You might walk your hands down the strap or up the strap and closer to your left foot, and maybe find hold of your left foot. Or not. If it's not slippery. A few more breaths in dancer pose, Natarajasana. Ooh. I'm really dancing my dancer pose today. And then when you're done, softly step the left up beside the right into mountain pose. Rest a hand at your heart center, a hand at your lower belly, and allow for 3 deep breaths. Noticing what came up for you in body or mind, and how you're relating to that now. When we fall out of a posture just like I did, do we condemn ourselves or judge ourselves? Do we use humor? And remember, it's all part of the practice. How do we learn from all of it? If we were all perfect, there would be nothing to practice. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, coil your chest up. Exhale, forward fold. Take a vinyasa or step directly to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg. Bend the knee like a scorpion tail. Exhale, lift the left knee towards the back wall and ceiling. Turning the left hip down, tack the right hip back. One more breath in. Exhale, contract the lower belly, lift the navel, round into plank. Maybe kiss the left knee as you step the left up beside the left thumb. Spin the right heel down, inhale to rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Hands together or apart, steady your gaze. Bend your left knee just over the left heel and draw the left thigh bone back into the hip socket. Straighten your right leg completely and press your outer right heel firmly into the floor. Spinning your inner right thigh towards the rear wall and turning your right outer hip forward. Lift your frontal hip bones and lengthen up through the spine. Shoulders relaxed. Couple more breaths. Degasana. Keep your arms like this if your lower back is okay with it, or bring your arms down by your sides, tilting your torso forward to a diagonal, hovering the belly off of your left thigh. Keep rotating the triceps down if your arms are overhead. Grab your strap, maybe wear it like a scarf, and shift into Virabhadrasana 3. Leaning your weight onto your left foot as you raise the right leg parallel to the floor, lengthen your torso parallel to the floor, and flex your right foot, lifting the sides of your waist, turning the right hip down. Still here, cultivating your intention in how you're approaching the posture. Standing on the left foot, rise up, bend the right knee in front of you. Flex the right foot and place the ball of the right foot into the strap. Hold the strap in your right hand and bend the right knee to hug the left knee. Turn the right palm to face up, bending the right elbow towards your right hip. Place the left hand on your left hip and keep your 2 frontal hip bones facing forward or hips squared. Kick the right foot towards the back wall and pull the foot towards you, pointing the right elbow at the front wall. Raise the left arm up Stay here or hold the strap with 2 hands and point both elbows forward, no wider apart than shoulders distance. Keep turning the right hip forward. Maybe you walk your hands up towards the foot, maybe not. See what's available and breathe. When you're ready, softly step the right foot down. Come into mountain pose. Rest the left hand on your heart center, your right hand on your lower belly. And let 3 full breaths in and out. Inhale the arms forward, roll your shoulders back and down. Exhale, forward folds. Please step back onto your hands and knees. Let's prepare for active inversion, a practice of 10 breaths in dolphin pose, or 10 breaths in traditional headstand, Salamba Sharvangasana. So if you are going into either one, let's start together. Rotate your triceps down, interlace your fingers, and place your bent elbows on the ground, shoulders width apart, pressing your outer wrist down. For dolphin, just drop the head without bearing any weight on it or look forward. For headstand, place the crown of your head, and only if you have a healthy neck, no issues there. Crown of the head on the floor, so back of the skull is lightly supported by the inner palms. Tuck your toes and lift the hips. Press down with the forearms to create space in the neck, lifting the shoulders up. If you're in dolphin, feet stay on the floor, or you can walk them together to touch and raise one leg. For 5 breaths, straight up, foot flexed, hips squared, and then raise the opposite leg for 5 breaths. So you're in your inversion, 10 breaths in total, your count, then we'll meet in child's pose. When you arrive in child's pose or balasana, place your arms wherever you choose. Let your body be still. Resting here for 3 deep breaths. And walking your hands forward, let's come back to downward facing dog to prepare for single pigeon pose. Inhale, raise your right leg up. Turn out the thigh, and exhale, cross the shin in front of your pelvis onto the floor. Stretch the left leg back and square your hips forward. We've been practicing quite a bit of back bending while stretching into the hip flexors. So here's another option, king pigeon. Bending the left knee, backstroke the left arm, and catch the inside of the left ankle or foot. You could raise the right arm up. You could hook the top of the foot into the crook of the left elbow and clasp the hands overhead like mermaid pose. Or you could take hold of the left foot with both hands like we did, you might have done in standing bow, dancer pose, keeping the elbows no wider than shoulders distance. So direct the back bend under the bottom tips of your shoulder blades if you're back bending. Otherwise, you might be folding forward into the reclined version of this pose. King pigeon pose in Sanskrit is Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Last 3 breaths in whatever version of this posture you're in. Then gently return to downward facing dog. You might raise your right leg there, turn out the thigh, maybe even flip it over into another back bend if you prefer. Wild thing. When you're ready for the second side, begin in downward facing dog with both feet on the floor. Then inhale, raise the left leg back, turn out the thigh, and cross the shin in front of your pelvis on the mat. Straighten the right leg behind you and square your hips forward. If you're moving into some variation of king pigeon, bend the right knee and backstroke your right arm to catch the inner side of the ankle or foot. Maybe you slide the top of the foot into the crook of the elbow and clasp the hands overhead. Or you might hold the toes with both hands, pointing the elbows forward. Or maybe you're bowing forward. Whatever variation, steady your attention onto your breath and intention. About 4 more deep breaths. Then gently make your way back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, in which you might raise your left leg, turn it out, bend at the knee, maybe flip it over into wild thing if you did so on the first side. From downward facing dog, pause there, lifting the hips up and back for 3 more breaths. And come down to your hands and knees for a counterbalancing posture from our back bends. Thread the needle. You might opt to step the right foot out to the right if you want to open up into the inner thigh at the same time. If so, align the inner arch of the right foot with your left knee. Raise your right arm up, breathing in. Exhale, thread the arm under your left bent elbow. Rest your right cheek on the ground or on a block. Let's stay about 7 breaths. Twisting across your waistline, try to keep your hips leveled in height. Send the shoulders away from your neck. Slowly come back to hands and knees. And if you step the right foot out to its side, do step the left foot out to its side. Inner arch of the foot to the right knee. Inhale, raise your left arm up. Exhale, thread it under your right bent elbow. Rest your left cheek on the ground or on a block. Stay about 7 breaths. Take your time as you come into child's pose, extending the arms forward. Actively stretching the lower back and the rest of the back. Sink your hips down towards your heels for 2 more breaths here. Lengthen the neck. Then gently roll up to sit. And let's extend both legs out in front of you for Paschimottanasana. Separating your feet hips distance apart. You might choose to use a strap around the balls of your feet. Or walk your hands down your legs and maybe eventually clasp your big toes. As you flex your feet, press the insteps forward. Ground your pelvis and lift up through each vertebra of your spine and the back of your skull. Breathe in. Hug the front ribs in. And exhale, begin to tilt your torso forward from the hips. Pause and breathe in. Press down through the pelvis and lengthen forward to your crown. Keep your throat open. Exhale, continue to fold, just like that, breath by breath. About 5 more breaths. Integrate a small back bend within this forward fold by rolling the shoulder bones back and down and slightly lifting the middle of your chest. Down to your sitting bones as you inhale to rise. Then let's get ready for Shavasana. Drop your feet apart wider than your hips distance, or come into Supta Baddha Konasana. Bending the knees apart, soles of the feet together, maybe resting a hand at the heart, a hand at the lower belly. Lying down, let your shoulders meet the ground. Find symmetry in your left and right hips. Relax the soles of your feet, your pelvic floor, your palms, your tongue, corners of your eyes, and your inner and outer ears, letting go of controlling your breath. Shavasana. Resting here a little longer. Keep your eyes closed. Again, scan your physical body for whatever sensations you feel now. Noticing your physical state. Begin to move your body gently, stretching and waking it up. Slowly turn over to your right side and rest your head on your arm. Taking your time, press your hands into the ground and slowly rise into a comfortable seat of your choice for our 5 minutes of sitting still in meditation. For today's meditation practice, I invite you into a visualization of your sankalpa, your intention. To sit in a way that grounds you. Feel an alert spine, an open heart, relaxed body. And let the breath continue to flow naturally. Place your hands in a mudra of your choice. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze at eye level. Begin by feeling your body. Breathe for moments. Now in your mind, state your intention for your practice. Say it a few times, reinforcing the feeling tone of it. Begin to picture what that looks like for you to have manifested that intention. How does it feel in your physical body? How does it feel in your heart, in your spirit? And how does it affect your energy, the way you relate to the world around you? Picture the actions that might come out of your fulfilling this intention. How you interact with yourself, how you perceive yourself, how you interact with the important beings in your life. How you interact in the contexts, the settings in which this intention might be most relevant. See who's there and where you are. What you're doing or not doing. Saying, hearing, smelling, touching. Use as many of your senses as possible. play with it. Have fun visualizing your intention in the present moment. You might also visualize how this allows you to contribute to the well-being of others. Or how it strengthens your ability to love. Remembering that you are a creator by nature. With every breath you take, with every thought, with every word, with every action or inaction, you are co-creating the realities we share. So doing so with love and intention, notice how you feel now. What's one thing you can appreciate in this moment? You might bring your hands together in prayer. Invite you to say your intention another time, knowing that its cultivation does not end here. Allow it to continue to grow. Remember to whom or what you dedicated this practice to. See them receiving benefit from your practice today. Now let's close together, chanting 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. Bow in towards your heart center, acknowledging the light within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.